Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Leaf Heart Path. My name is Andrea, and today I'll be delivering messages about your aura. We're going to explore some sensory information about the current state of your aura, and then pick up on what's with you that isn't yours. What have you been carrying around with you, and how might that be impacting you at this time? This could be energetic sludge from coworkers, or negative quartz from an ex, or unwanted influencing energy from a domineering person. You get the picture. We'll then get some advice on how you can self-heal, how you can clear some of that on your own, or maybe some tips about what you can do with assistance from others, and what things are going to look like once that clearing is complete. What's it going to look like for you? Plus, any additional tips or advice for strengthening your auric field going forward. So take a moment to cast your gaze over the cards that we have here below. They are going to be numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4, moving from left to right. And see which group is speaking to you the most. I'm going to pop some crystals on these for those of you who prefer to choose with crystal energy. Here we go. Group 1 is marked with Selenite. Group 2, Peach Moonstone. Group 3, Labradorite. Group 4, Amazonite. Keep in mind that you can pick as many groups as you'd like. This is based off your current auric field, so you may find that if you revisit this video in the future, another group will have a stronger resonance for you. So choose as many or as few groups as you feel pulled to. There may be messages within different areas depending on what cards we are pulling. You can pause the video should you need more time to choose. Timestamps are listed in the description box and the video bar below. And with that, I will see you over in your video. Hello Group 1, welcome to your Aura Cleansing Pick-a-Card video. If you picked the Selenite, then you are in the right place. I'd like to begin today's reading by bringing forward some sensory information about your aura. So this information may include what your aura looks like, what it feels like, if it has a sound associated with it or a scent, anything like that. You get the picture. Remember, this isn't what it always looks like, sounds like, etc. We're just picking up on how things are at this particular moment in time. Okay, so we're starting with the Three of Wands. This is my absolute favorite card in the Wild Unknown Tarot. And this card always indicates to me that somebody's been through quite a bit in their lifetime. There may be wounds from the past or recently, but in part, those wounds have healed because you've done the work, Group 1. And while some of these experiences have been incredible hardships at this point, they are one part of the framework of your human experience, and you've grown immensely from them. The Three of Wands in this particular deck to me is a card of losses, of healing, and of growth, moving beyond grief, so that soul experiences are part of a whole and not identified as the entirety of you in themselves, because you are not defined solely by these experiences. They are one part of you within the journey of your life. There is love and there is light on the other side of this. This central part here inside the triangle right there, that's a rainbow of colors, and that's like you stepping into and growing into and moving over the threshold of pain into beauty. There's a strength to your aura, Group 1. I'm feeling a rubber or elastic type of feeling. It's both incredibly strong and it's cohesive. So if somebody pushes into your auric field, into your energy field too much with their physical self, or because maybe they have poor boundaries, what I'm getting is that there is a natural give to that auric field, so you are quite protected. So just picture if somebody's leaning in, right? Your aura is going to pull back automatically, okay, like this. Pushing in, if this is you, they're coming in. It's going to pull back just a little bit, and you're quite protected. So your auric field can pull back, it can retain its bounce, and for you, it's not going to be as easy for rips or tears or blockages to occur. Now, you've gotten here because of hard work. I only see this in individuals who've gone through hardship and they have worked their shit out. Sorry. But this is somebody who's done what they need to do. And in this case, action is what counts. Not what people mentally identify with or say that they've done. Like, yeah, I've done the work. That sounds good. That's me. Not necessarily. So for example, someone can say, that's me. I've read a lot of books on this subject for hours and hours, many hours of this. Or I tried therapy. I did, 1 session or 2 sessions. Or I'm always pushing myself to be better. I spend 17 hours a day processing emotions. I've worked on this for 10.5 years. Reading psychology manuals, it's not going to do it. Going to a therapist once or twice is not going to reflect this kind of strength, nor will someone who treats life as a simulation and tries to outthink or outmuscle or spiritually bypass the actual work. You can't fake alignment like this group one. This flexibility you have and strength only comes from loving, from living, from moving through your emotions. Even if it sometimes feels like you are dragging yourself through the muck. This is vulnerability and strength from that vulnerability all at the same time. You are quite the marvel, group one. As for what else I'm sensing at the moment, there's still some underlying areas of brittleness or fragility. Think of a rubber band that gets a little old and it loses that bounce that it has. It can be a little stretched or thin, and it lacks elasticity that it once had. And I'm seeing spots of this within your auric field in small areas. Yeah. They're like little sticky spots or hot spots. You know what? I almost see them as these areas where the triangle is joined by the wands. Here, here, and here. Yeah, where the sticks are threaded together. You have a few points that could use just a little bit of attention, and I'm seeing them as royal blue in color. And there's a little bit of gold just kind of radiating off of them. And there's a tiny spot of forest green with a similar gold or yellow radiance that's there as well. And the radiance, it's almost like its own mini aura, or just picture the light, how light emanates from the sun's rays, or a light bulb. It's like a little crown. And what I'm sensing is that these areas hold old patterns, old behaviors, and old habits. This is, to me, old pain, perhaps to do with old wounds, maybe your attachment style, or things you've tried to tackle over the years, but you may still need a little encouragement to help process this out, a little support. And I can see where the aura has bubbled up in these particular spaces, which indicates that some healing has happened in these particular hot spots, but they're still going to need a little bit of attention from you. The blue to me indicates possible cords needing to be cut, and the green, I want to connect with your heart chakra. There's a sorrow there which you've been carrying. Okay, We'll get more into this with our next card, which indicates what you're carrying with you, which could be old wounds or stuff that isn't yours. So we have the Five of Swords. Group 1, I would say you definitely have some cords that need to be cut. This could not be a better illustration of this. This could be a love interest and you've separated, or you've gone no contact. This could illustrate any number of heartbreaks in the past, but since it's so prominent in this illustration, this may be something recent, something large, or something that plays on old wounds of the past. And I want to tie this into that forest green bump or hot spot that I saw. Green is the color of the heart chakra. It's where we love, it's where we heal from. And because this green was a darker green in color than we typically associate with the heart chakra, not emerald green, but a forest green, I feel like whatever this wound is, it's attached to old hurts from your past, perhaps childhood, perhaps when you were a teenager. There's something there that activates you. And it feels like to me like a heartbreak on some level. Yeah, and as I tune into this, that idea of a heartbreak, there's sort of a sinking feeling that I'm getting in my solar plexus. There's a little wobble there. Unsteady foundation is the term that's coming to mind. It's possible you had something happen that opened up old insecurities, old wounds, and this may need some attention from you. This isn't something that's as small as like psychic ties. This would be something bigger, something that you, like, I think at one point really cut you to the quick, or an experience that left you reeling or really doubting yourself. And I'm being told that cutting the cord to this situation or person would be a good thing for your energetic field. It could also be an experience for some of you. But also, dig into what lies beneath. Why is there a wobble? We'll get more into this specifically when we look at the best approach for clearing these blocks in just a bit. I want to see what else you're carrying with you. Yeah, well, so we have the Nine of Swords here. If this isn't a great visual, I don't know what is. A lot of this is anxiety, racing thoughts, old wounds. We've got eyes, we've got a worm here. There's a jawbone, it looks like, maggots. It's old muck, you know, it's energetic sludge that is hanging out in your aura. And because this imagery to me indicates decay, I want to say that this is old stuff. And I feel like you're really good at processing things that have happened more recently. Like maybe you became more aware, or you really had a period of working on things that have happened to you more recently. Just maybe perhaps as you've gotten older, you've gotten wiser about how to handle things. But this is old junk that needs to be cleared out. It could be any matter of astral debris type. We already mentioned that you've got some negative cords. Likely, I would classify this also as unwanted influencing energy, which is the energy that's put out by people in your life who have an agenda for you. Okay? It can be controlling, coercive, domineering, manipulative, and it's often put out by others who don't realize they're doing it. It's that they want you to behave in a certain way because they can't or won't meet their own needs. So it's not just narcissists or toxic people that do this. Anyone can put out unwanted influencing energy accidentally. But in order to be receptive to unwanted influencing energy, you need to be a bit open to it. So likely, group 1, you've lived with someone who treated you in this way, or you've had a recent experience with a relationship where somebody acted like this. If being controlled or dominated, or the thought of that really triggers you, it bothers you, you are likely carrying unwanted influencing energy with you at this time. Now notice both of these cards here, we have our swords. There's a lot of sword action happening here. So this is a lot of rumination. It's mental excess energy. You may be someone who's easily worried or concerned about other people and their motivations, their actions, whether they'll follow through on promises, or if they're sharing meaningless platitudes with you, are they paying you lip service? Are they serious? Just remember, if there is someone like that in your life, you don't need to elevate them to a high status. Don't put them on a pedestal. The rumination and anxiety can be like creating a rut for your brain. If you keep going there, you are reinforcing these feelings and associated behaviors as a result, which can pave the way for more of these feelings and experiences, where you may be attracting more unidentified influencing energy or people to form those negative chords with, or experiences. I feel, group one, that you would benefit from a nice energy healing session with a professional, but there are lots of things that you can do to self-heal as well. So I'd like to pull some cards to see what's recommended for you to do. We're going to scooch these over here. Beautiful. Okay, so we have the Star. That is so pretty. I always get a sense of motion with this card, like the star is rising, and I see this as a reflection of you using your voice. Remember those little blue hot spots I saw? I see them like these little bubbles or blisters that will be punctured when you start to speak up and use your voice. And what happens is the puncture allows for your own trapped energy to be released, and I see your aura getting like a little pixie dust magic. A little sparkly healing magic as it kind of smooths out and soothes out. So spend a little time reflecting where you aren't using your voice. Think about that. Yeah. What situations, with what people, and particularly if you're someone who doesn't like to rock the boat, make waves, or you just roll over for others. It's very healthy to speak your wants and needs, and when you use your voice, your aura won't be the only thing that gets stronger. You're also going to get more rooted, more centered into yourself, more grounded, and you will naturally begin to heal yourself more just automatically. Your intuition's going to become stronger, and you're going to feel a greater sense of being at home within yourself, coming back to yourself. Let's see what else we have. What are the recommendations? Okay, so we have the Chariot. With focused attention, I think really digging into this, the Five of Swords energy. We talked about cutting cords. If it's an incident or the cord of attachment that exists between you and another, or you in this painful experience, if you dig into that, that's going to bring some relief. So it's not just cutting the cord, and some of you may cut your own cords energetically already, or maybe you see like a healer for this, but addressing what lies beneath that. Because once you figure out whatever that unsteady foundation is, that wobble I was picking up on when we were talking about the green spot with the heart chakra, that's where you want to focus your attention. So you might do this with a counselor, a therapist, a trusted friend, a mentor. This may be investigating things on your own for a little while. Journaling or meditation, allowing for things to bubble up that need to be felt and released. Perhaps somatic experiencing therapy with a trained practitioner. That's another thought. But I think once you delve into this, the Chariot implies mastery, moving forward with swiftness, making great gains. And this is how you might go about healing that heart wound after cutting the cord. What else do we have here for you? Okay. So we have the Hanged Man. The card's so cute. In terms of the unwanted influencing energy, you can simply call on a divine level being. Nobody from the astral plane. When we say divine level, what I'm referring to is like the highest of the highest. So think like penthouse. We're talking about God. We're talking about Jesus, whatever ascended masters you might believe in, and archangels. Okay, and you call on them and ask them to clear the energy from your auric field. So you might have somebody you regularly pray to, or connect with, that's from that divine level, and you can go to them if you're feeling that resonance, or anybody else if you do a little bit of research that feels right to you. And from this, then you can create your own kind of prayer or ritual, group one. And if we're looking at the eyes on the bat here, those red eyes, This is seeing clearly. It's seeing through empty words. It's seeing through platitudes, empty platitudes. Looking very clearly into the hearts and minds of those around you. Who is most likely sending unwanted influencing energy that you, i.e. your way? Do their words and actions align? You know, is there anyone you feel like in your heart that things aren't quite adding up? There's something that's off here. And perhaps it's not just a person for you, but it could be a collective, because UIE, or unwanted influencing energy, can come from larger institutions, like religious institutions. It can come from our own culture, cultural practices, cultural beliefs, from corporations or the media. Anybody, basically, any group or organization that has influence, has power or money at stake. And I think the bat's message here is to take careful inventory of who's around you. And when do you feel the most crappy after conversations, or the most bullied or vacant or numb or wounded? Where are you hurting after you either talk to somebody or you're taking something in, watching something, reading something? When do you feel like you're not enough? Because that's where you might want to begin to cut ties, either with individuals or stepping away from groups, being careful around social media. And if you're finding that UIE is an issue, keep up a clearing ritual for yourself and do it every day. It doesn't have to be long. If you're very sensitive, you might do it after social gatherings and when you first wake up in the morning and before bed at night. Determine what works the best for you, because nobody can tell you what this looks like otherwise. I think overall, the idea of using your voice is really coming through for you, Group 1, and giving voice to the unexpressed feelings and thoughts is really going to allow for more healing energy. You're making room for it. You're letting go of the old. And that makes room for you to be able to speak up what your wants, needs, and desires are, which is going to help strengthen your aura overall, particularly if you're someone who holds things in, if you're a little more stoic, if you tend to swallow your feelings because you want to be accepted. Or you put up a wall between yourself and other people. Good boundaries are important, but vulnerability and feeling and healing is also an important part of good auric health. Now, what I would like to do is we're going to take a look at what you might expect after clearing your aura, and any ways to take care of your aura in the future. Okay, so we have death. Yeah, this group, you've had some pretty intense cards here, if we're looking, especially with the visuals. That 5 of Swords, the 9 of Swords. We've got death here. Let's see what else. And the Sun. Wow, look how bright that is compared to a lot of the black and white that we have here. Death is a transition, and here it represents the change of outdated scripts and patterns and habits. And by sweeping out the old, you are making room for the new. And the Sun indicates an openness, a plainness, a visibility that may have been hidden or shielded before. Thus we had those little bumps in the aura. And I think the Sun shows a willingness to choose yourself and not feeling a need to cover up or hide. There's just a welcoming energy, a bit of an attitude of take it or leave it. Like, if you don't like what I'm planting in my garden, then leave. You can go. Nothing is holding you here. And by spending some time clearing out your aura, engaging in a healing process that's meaningful for you, you will unknowingly become so much more magnetic. The right people will fall into place at your side, and the others, they can stay outside your garden walls. You aren't so guarded that you have to monitor every little sound, every possible threat, someone unwanted or new, like coming towards the garden walls, because you have your own things to do. And your naturally flexible aura will help ward off some of the folks who have alternative agendas. This is the most relaxed and at ease that you could be, Group 1. And going back to these cards, it's interesting. Like, the first 3 we had here at the top were all minors. The 3 of Wands, 5 of Swords, and the 9 of Swords. And then everything after that is major arcana. The Star, the Chariot, the Hanged Man, Death, and the Sun. That's crazy. Because those are your actual actions and outcomes. The big changes that you're behind the wheel for. So this is just a reminder, Group 1, you're in charge, and the outcome for you is just absolutely beautiful. All right, so what are some things that you can do to increase your aura? We have some oracle cards for this portion. So increasing the strength of your aura. We have got, oh my gosh, look at that. Number 21, we have a little bat again. So you guys have 2 bats. I want to say, I'm going to pull this guy back out. Since we have 2 bats here, this could be a spirit animal for you, but be alert about who or what is possibly impacting your energy. You know, the bat on the Hanged Man card, we talked about UIE, or unwanted influencing energy. And while there's no need to be hyper vigilant, which can happen if we have anxiety or naturally anxious temperament, just be sure to take an inventory, especially when you're meeting new people. And if you're someone who is likely sensitive to coercive behaviors, you want to keep that in mind as well. And notice how other people or groups make you feel, and then because of that, act accordingly. That's Goomba out there. He's agreeing. Take care of your own needs, and I'm also getting you need to, group 1, start to trust your gut with this a little bit more. If there's a little shade, don't stay there, because your place is meant to be in the sun. We saw this. So scooch on out, fly away, steer clear. I think there are some people you will naturally deflect with your new energy, but UIE may be a sticky spot for you for a little while as you're healing. So do keep an eye on this and others as you are working through your healing process. Okay, and we have clear quartz, purification. This does not surprise me, because I see this as you. You are that quartz, and once you've begun to do the healing work, you're moving closer and closer to this pure and clear energy. And this also shows us how beautiful and magnetic your auric field truly is, group 1. You're likely an empath or sensitive yourself. You may pick up on the energies of others very easily. And I want to say as well that you may be a healer yourself, so it's important to keep your auric field and your chakras clean and clear. This will allow you to tap into your own healing abilities for yourself, which will strengthen your auric field. And I do want to say too, consider crystal gridding. I will put a link in the description box to an article about cleaning and clearing and working with crystal grids, if this is something you are interested in investigating more of. Crystal grids can help strengthen your aura while you go about your day. It's kind of nice. Because the only work you need to do is taking care of the crystals, laying out the grid, and then you can kind of forget about it. You just allow the energy to flow to you. And this is just another way that you can strengthen your aura and increase its flexibility as well. It'll help keep things a little clean and clear for you and work really passively. You don't have to do much of anything except just that initial groundwork, and then when you decide to clear it and reset everything. All right, we have some mantras for you as well. I am safe. I am confident. And perfect. I am limitless. Very nice. So you can choose one of these mantras, or 2 of them, or all 3, and say them. Maybe write them down, make them into a background for your cell phone or computer. You can go back and take a screenshot if you want to. Or write your own. These mantras will help to strengthen your aura as you work with the words until you feel them start to occupy more of your space in your energetic field. And just allow their power to invigorate you and help to dial up your natural radiance so that you truly feel limitless. So group 1, that is what I have for you today. If you enjoyed this reading, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're aware of any new pick a card readings and when they're released. I also do distant Reiki videos as well, so you'll be seeing some of those popping up from the notifications too. And if you felt this was beneficial or of use to you, please share with others who might likewise find this of value, and tell fellow group 1 members that you're part of the group 1 crew by, let's post, since we had 2, let's post a bat emoji in the comments section. And I appreciate you being with us today. I'm sending love and good vibes your way, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, my friends. Hello group 2, welcome to your aura cleansing pick a card video. If you picked this peach moonstone, then you are in the right place for your reading. So I'd like to begin today's reading by bringing forward some sensory information about your aura. This information may include what your aura looks like, what it feels like, if it has a sound or a scent associated with it, you get the idea. So remember, this isn't what it always looks like. We're just taking a snapshot, a moment in time right now. We're picking up on how things are looking at this particular time. Okay, let's pop into it. And we start with the Three of Pentacles. Okay. Well, I feel like at times you may have a huge aura, like a lighthouse huge aura. Right now, the word I associate with this energy is lockdown. That's what I'm hearing. So your aura is held close to your physical body, and I'm seeing it almost like a suit of armor. It feels dense and tight, as though this is a way of protecting yourself from possible outside influence. Typically, the Three of Pentacles reads about like work and teamwork, working together to create something, hooking up with somebody else to collaborate. And your aura carries this energy with it. It's an energy of otherness, as though you're always aware of others. You always have your guard up against what is other or what is outside of you. Some of you may also be workaholics. It takes one to know one. So I'm right there with you. Who only connect with others within a work capacity. While you may not be as comfortable connecting with, say, like new friends outside of this space. So you may be a little introverted, or you may not have as many people that you hold dear within your inner circle. And even, I feel like you might hold people at arm's length sometimes as a way of protecting your energy, and it could be an unconscious thing. I do feel you may be an incredibly warm and inviting person, but there is this element of your energy that is walled off because you're on the defense. Even if you say you carry no resistance to others, there is something there energetically that's just a big stop sign to other people. And I do feel if people are sensitive enough or get to know you well enough, they're going to pick up on this group too. Healers may actually need permission from you directly if you're getting energy work done to have to be able to go forward, to have access to your aura because of this armoring up. And actually, I have seen this while working with a particular client who was very walled off, and anytime we did work, this individual needed to give me permission to do the work. And they actually had mentioned to me, too, that they needed to do the same thing with another healer as well. So if you're running into this or you're hearing this from people, if you do get some work done, this also is another sign that you're in the right space right now. And so this mountain on the Three of Pentacles is taking up the majority of the card. It's like I see you behind the mountain. What I'm getting is like, this is what we see up front, and you're tucked in behind the space. People have to work very hard to get to you. And it could be you've withdrawn a bit due to circumstances of your youth or other experiences that have left you a little bit removed because it is safer or more acceptable to operate from this space. Yeah, and I would say I'm very much being drawn to these Three Pentacles here at the bottom of the card. And the way that they're connected to each other. There's this kind of push me, pull you kind of energy here. So it could have to do with attachment styles. You may have some anxious or avoidant tendencies within relationships. If you're into attachment stuff, you could be anxious, preoccupied. You could be fearful, avoidant, or disorganized attachment. It's like, I feel like I'm being torn between two people. So it's possible there were some parenting issues, or Perhaps your parents split up. There may have been some unique dynamics where you felt like you were stuck in the middle. Or perhaps you were at one end and you had a very soft-spoken parent in the middle, and you had someone who's more domineering at the opposite end, and you felt like you had to step in to maybe protect that person. And these pentacles to me almost look like wounds. There's definitely some heavier lines here. I would say there's some familial energy that may need addressing within your aura. Actually, you know what these remind me of? Particularly this red one, because it looks so raw. It's like a brand. It's like you've been tattooed or branded with somebody else's stuff. This may not be parents. It could be old relationships or tough experiences for some of you. And we'll delve more into what this might mean when we examine what isn't yours and what's hanging out in your auric field. And we're going to do that in just a moment. So group 2, just to sum up what sensory information we're getting, your aura is very tight to your body. It has several layers that are all sandwiched on top of each other, like layers of paint or layers of wallpaper. They're very dense, or they're fine, I should say, but they're dense at the same time because we have so much of it. It'd be like 100 layers of wallpaper or something like that. So you may come off as somebody who's very certain in your viewpoints, and grounded, and maybe even unafraid. Somebody who knows what they want. And that's because of this density that's coming through. Healers may have a hard time accessing you for healing without your permission, and you have some definitive old wounds that are scarred up like old brands or tattoos. And when I focus on your aura, I feel like I've had to exert myself physically. Like I'm working really hard to accomplish something. So you may be somebody who's quite driven, and I just feel like I want to rest. Like I need space. I need space to breathe. And while things feel tight and constricted, I also feel lonely in this space. And again, there's this mountain in the distance, and I feel like I have to work really hard to meet you where you're at. Like I would be doing the work, and you may not necessarily reciprocate because you're used to operating in this way. Your aura looks very smooth to me also. It's like it's so dense, it's become highly polished. It's almost reflective, like a mirror. Like people might project what they want to see onto you, or they may become a little enamored of you, or want to spend a lot of time with you because you only let them see little glimpses of who you are. It makes you a little mysterious, and mostly they see what they want to because they're filling in the dots within their minds. Yeah. Especially because you're on the other side of this mountain here, this other space. People are just getting this teasing glimpse of who you really are. And underneath the layers of your aura, I'm seeing these little frayed edges like fibers or threads hanging off a sweater. And these can be attached to other people and their energy because some of you have these little cracks in your aura where you've picked up some extra outside energy. Because for as dense as your aura is and for as tight as it is, that also works against you in some regard because at a certain point things will crack or break. Okay, we're going to get more into this with the next card or cards, which indicate what you're carrying with you. And that could be old wounds. It could be things that aren't yours. We call that astral debris. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So let's take a look. And so we begin with the Five of Cups. And underneath this dense armor, this tightness, group 2, there's a lot of heart and a lot of emotion. There's that saying that still waters run deep. I feel this energy connected to this fibers or threads I saw. And so for some of you, this energy is accessing you in part via those cracks we talked about. And for others, there's this energy of disappointment or sorrow that's deep within you. Perhaps a feeling of not being enough, which could be an old thing. Maybe you feel better now. Or that could be something you're carrying with you still. Being an outsider, always looking in. Was that the Wizard of Oz where the horse is driving them into the Emerald City, the horse and carriage, and it would change colors? What do they call it? The horse of a different color. You're like that horse. You're unique and you're beautiful and you're different and you're possibly very, very misunderstood, group 2. I might categorize some of this as emotional debt, and I don't know why I said that word. It just kind of popped into my head. It's like you're paying the price for someone else's actions and they still want you to pay. And that could be unwanted influencing energy, or UIE, or there's also astral debris in the form of negative thought forms, or NTF. So unwanted influencing energy, or UIE, is the energy from others who have this agenda or how they think we should live our lives. People who are susceptible to this energy often have had difficult childhoods, marked by domineering, controlling parental figures. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you come from a narcissistic or toxic family unit. I tend to lean into the idea like everybody's doing the best that they can, right? And some parents have their own crap that they just haven't worked out yet. And so they may act out in ways that aren't always for our best interests. We don't come with instruction manuals, but parents do the best they can. And so sometimes when things aren't worked out, there's a tendency for some folks to want to control our behavior because they haven't figured out how to deal with their own stuff yet. It makes them get this temporary sense of control or relief. And so UIE does have familial roots, but we can also pick this energy up from others around us who have similar controlling agendas. We often gravitate toward what feels emotionally and energetically like home, what's familiar, and we find ourselves repeating similar habits or patterns and communication with people who were like those who were around us at an impressionable time in our lives. UIE can also come from religious institutions, from our culture, from our heritage, from familial expectation, the government, consumer culture, and media. Essentially any group who has a stake in other people, in power, needing money, and what we think. There are some individuals that can let these kinds of people or groups with their dominating attitudes just walk right on by, but others are going to be more affected. And if you feel you are susceptible to unwanted influencing energy, then it's likely part of the reason your auric field is so tight and dense to you, group 2. You pulled in the layers tightly to act as a shield, and you also unknowingly made yourself smaller and may have pushed others away who wanted to be your friend or wanted to get to know you better. You may have some missed opportunities with friendships or romance or other things, even career kinds of movement, due to carrying this UIE with you. And if UIE doesn't sound right to you, you may be someone who has picked up a type of astral debris categorized as NTF, or negative thought forms. And these are the negative energies that are projected from other people that are directed at ourselves. They can also be from us to us. So repeated negative thoughts such as I am stupid, or I am weak, I'm ugly, I'm worthless, can impact our mood. Over time, if we continue to say these phrases, we really begin to mean them, and this kind of thinking can create a rut and a habit which will continue to be reinforced the more that we think these kinds of thoughts. Over time, we begin to attract experiences that color our perceptions to match these expectations that we are stupid or weak or worthless or ugly or whatever it is. NTF is really a nasty type of astral debris that can cloud our aura, and with time, our emotional life and our thoughts as well, which collaterally impacts how we see the world and the people in it. So NTF may be what is being carried in these cups that we see here on the 5 of Cups. Anytime someone hits a trigger point or an NTF that is a hot point for you, feeling stupid, feeling weak, feeling ugly, feeling like you're excluded or that you're worthless, it's going to fill these cups up a little more, and you will continue to carry a heavier and heavier load with you. All right. Let's see what else you've been carrying with you. Oh, this is interesting. This is the 6 of Swords, and this actually looks like your aura. Do you see that? A rainbow right there. It's super thin. Each layer of color is packed densely onto the one underneath it. And we have this division between dark and light. Over the rainbow, under the rainbow. That's funny too, because then I'm thinking of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. We were already talking about Wizard of Oz. So I don't know if Wizard of Oz is a thing for some of you, but that is definitely coming through. Yeah, the aura here is acting like a shield that's holding back what's happening outside. You might be perceiving it just as dark as what's happening here. But in reality, I think it's actually light that's around you, you know? The white space is what's going on around you, outside your body, and the darkness and the swords below the rainbow show us what has happened in the past. And you're carrying that with you, inside you. The swords represent old mental energy, old patterns and wounds that are pulling down the auric field's layers and condensing them. And if you clear this energy out, I think things will begin to expand naturally for you, Group 2. What's below the rainbow will start to become much lighter and brighter, and you may begin to feel like you can trust again, begin to start opening up to others. And that constricted feeling I got earlier when initially tuning into your aura, it's going to relax. It's going to open up. It's going to feel like you can breathe again. And I want to tie this mental heaviness, the swords, to the pentacles that we spoke about earlier over here. Old wounds. Swords, we know they can cut to hurt or cut to heal. A surgeon is one who cuts to heal, but a warrior with his own agenda and his own cause may cut to hurt. And swords are double-edged sometimes. Someone who cuts us with their words isn't just hurting us, but also themselves. And it's very easy for us to do the same. So it's likely you have some cords that still need to be cut to particular people or experiences that you are still carrying with you energetically. And there are a few ways to do this, and we'll tune in and see the advice that's given for removing your blocks. Before we do that, though, just to summarize, we've got the UIE, the unidentified influencing energy, the NTF, the negative thought forms, or both, from a deep place of emotion, and these are likely old wounds. However, there are some cracks in your aura that when someone hits you in just the right way with something that triggers one of these wounds, watch out. And there are some cords to specific people or events, negative cords that need to be cut. These are some of the things in your auric field that you're carrying that do not belong to you. And once you process these things, then things are going to be a little bit lighter and brighter for you. So we're going to look into now some self-healing practices and pull some cards to see what's recommended for you to send some of these energies packing. So to kick it off, oh, very nice. We have the Two of Pentacles. So I would place this card here, and I just want to contrast these two. Look how this is so much more stable than what's happening with the Three of Pentacles. You know, everything's symmetrical. There's beauty and flow here. You know, both of these cards are pentacles, but only one feels easy and smooth and like you can breathe. We still have like rainbow and black and white. Those are the dominant colors, but there's something here with the energy that's much, much lighter. Yeah, that's the message I'm getting here, Group 2. One of the ways you can remove some of these negative energies, blocks, or astral debris, whatever you want to call it, from your auric field is actually to do breath work. You can breathe here. And I know this sounds probably overly simplistic or trite for some of you, but getting some oxygen into your body and really focusing on moving it through your chakras and your central energy channel will help to align your thinking and your energy as well. I see a lot of stability with this and an ability to be more centered, therefore more flexible, which is good because your aura was so dense and rigid before. And at this point, everything feels more connected and more clear. When I see this, I often think of two halves of the brain, the corpus callosum, holding them together and both sides working in tandem the way they're meant to. There's just this lightening and a relaxing feeling here overall. Your aura can begin to absorb some of this free-flowing energy, and it will in turn begin to relax and let go, expand. There are loads of videos and articles out there about breath work. Try checking some of them out for free practice. If you want a little more assistance, there actually are people who specialize in breath work who can guide you to a place where you feel a bit more like you. So breathwork Group 2 will be foundational for starting to clear out some of the debris in your aura. I have to say, this is very unique because of all the times I've done this with people. I've maybe done some breathwork with folks, but I don't think I've gotten that specifically. Like, this is going to be for your aura and for clearing things out. So this is definitely unique. You guys are the horse of a different color. All right. And then we also have the Father of Cups. It's our next suggested energy. So with this, notice we've got cups and cups right here. This is a time to dig into what's yours and what's not. The Father of Cups is as high as we're going to go in the Suit of Cups, which is water and emotions and intuitions. So this is maxing out your understanding, your empathy, your ability to discern what's yours and what is somebody else's stuff. So you've gone from the 5 and you've moved all the way through the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9, moving upward till you get to the Father, the King. This is where you want to make sure that you clear out that UIE we were talking about, the unwanted influencing energy or negative thought form, or both, depending on who you are. And this is to get to that emotional mastery. You have to understand you're going to need to apply a little elbow grease here. So to remove these forms of astral debris, one thing you can do is ask the divine being of your choice. And when I say divine being, I'm talking about the divine realm. So who's from the divine realm? We're talking about the highest of the high. We're talking about the penthouse, top floor. And that would be like God. That would be like, source, universe. It would be ascended masters or archangels. And you can do a little research on them if that's not something you're very familiar with. But you want to go to them, not to the astral realm, not to your guides specifically, or your angels. We want to go archangels. And this will help you remove that which isn't yours. And you can make up your own prayer. You can make up your own ritual and say it once or twice a day. I always recommend creating your own ritual because when you create it, it holds more meaning. And so you might build it up over time. If there are some pretty deep wounds here, you might consider digging into this with someone who's qualified to help, such as a counselor or a therapist. While reflection is always good, bringing in another qualified and certified individual can help to keep things moving along and to help you stop from getting stuck or spinning your wheels. Sometimes we get completely mired and we don't realize that quite a bit of time has passed where we could have been quite a bit further ahead in our journey. We've been kind of just maybe dabbling in something but not really moving forward with it. And finally, we have the sun. Beautiful. So some of this advice I really think is going to be the same here. Wow, that's so bright compared to where you've been. You may want to call in a divine being to help assist you in the process of cutting cords. So this is about cutting those cords to people or experiences that have left your energetic mark on you, as we talked about with the 3 of Pentacles. So of course, a therapist, a counselor, they would be excellent, someone who's certified for the emotional support of this process. There are even counselors and therapists who specialize in cord cutting as well, or they have that added in. Or an intuitive healer can assist you with the cord cutting and can teach you how to cut your own cords in the future. I cut my own cords, but if I find that I've got more difficult experiences, circumstances, or like something's really stuck with someone else, I will call on others to assist with, the cord cutting. And the sun also implies honesty and transparency. So this is about opening yourself up and becoming vulnerable, really working on that, doing the emotional work and letting everything breathe. Don't fall back into old habits where you're walling yourself off, you're hiding behind that mountain, where you're presenting that mountain as a front to others. So think about what you want to plant for yourself. What goals do you have for yourself in the future? And allow enough sun and outside elements in to sustain this. We need the sunlight, the wind and the rain. Let all of those things in to nurture what's going to grow. So lean on others and be vulnerable. Take emotional risks. If you open yourself up, you will experience much joy in the days ahead. Okay, we're going to look at what you might expect after clearing your aura and ways to take care of your aura in the future. So our outcome, to begin, we have the 4 of Pentacles, And the Son of Cups. See that little rainbow peeking out there? So that's nice. Already we've got a lot of motion and opening that's happening here. So we have a space now between these colored threads where we looked at your aura before on the Six of Swords. We had the rainbow, everything was dense. It's like we've opened that up completely. It's a perfect example of the energetic space that you create with clearing some of these blocks we've talked about. So we move from that tight and dense aura to one that's bright and light with room to expand and shift with you. This feels much more open than when you started. It's still pretty tight, but this is very much preferable to what we have going on here. There's more elasticity for you, and that's really what you're looking for. This is a good start. Something that's not so rigid and that's going to move with you. And I am being drawn to that rainbow again on the Son of Cups. So that's you on the path to opening up to others a bit more, to accepting help, to being a little more open and vulnerable. You're accepting a healing cup, or you're accepting a friendship, from somebody else. This isn't just about answering other people's questions or queries about your life, like when you're meeting somebody at a party, for example, and they're asking you questions. You need to prompt them as well. Ask them questions or volunteer information yourself. Reach out and initiate connection and sharing. Volunteering a part of the slice of life that's your day. You might assume people don't want to hear things, but you would be shocked, especially if you're walled off. When you start to share what can happen, there'll be a big shift. So part of the gift also is your intuition is going to be getting a boost, as you're working on this. So this is a journey for you, and you're going to want to continue to find ways to grow and expand and push yourself into a little more vulnerability. I feel like you're just getting started, and this is the path to that growth. Now, to increase your aura strength, so we continue to grow that flexibility, we're not so rigid anymore, and we have a little more space. We're going to get in some oracle cards here. Oh, interesting. So we have a butterfly, number 18. Number 18, 1, 8, or 9 may mean something to some of you. So we have 2 butterflies here, and that actually happened with the last group. I believe we had 2 bats. So the orange here is making me think of the sacral chakra. That's kind of about where this would be. That figure 8 that's on the other butterfly. So sacral chakra. Yeah. It's got an orange color, and I think of like the freedom of flight that a butterfly has. So one of the things you can do, group 2, to boost your auric field between cleansings is to work on your sacral chakra, because your aura had such a tight quality to it. It needed oxygen. We need a little free-moving wind here too. We need joy, and that's what a butterfly brings to us when we see it, a little awe, a little joy. So follow your bliss, group 2. Make time for pleasure in your day. You might ask yourself, how am I prioritizing pleasure? What could bring more pleasure to me in this particular moment? And so build time to play within your day. And so this actually means you might need to write it into your schedule if you need to. Build it in, structure it in. Be silly, be free, connect with friends who have a similar mindset, someone that makes you laugh and you can be goofy with. Reach out to those who can cultivate that with you and build a container for play with one another. So playing games, like stream a movie together, be silly. Another thing, you can also build up your creativity here. So like lean into anything that allows you to create, like art, cooking, dance, music, acting, whatever it is, whatever floats your boat. Just have fun, group 2, because you want to have fun when you have homework, and this is your homework. All right. We also have Brazilianite with flexibility, and that does not shock me at all that you wound up with a stone that has a meaning that's correlating right now to being flexible. So you can, of course, meditate on the energy of this card. You can take a screenshot of it right now. But I really want you to think to its general meaning as well. In what ways can you push your own boundaries to be a little more flexible in your thoughts, in your habits? How can you create new habits that foster being flexible? If you're pretty rigorous and rigid with your daily schedule, for example, maybe you build in an hour of playtime. If you normally eat the same things, try new foods. Orange foods would be great for connecting with your sacral chakra, by the way. Do things that make you just a little bit uncomfortable each day and keep pushing in that. And see how it creates more space for you to show up in the world as yourself, to be more vulnerable with others. And that's what I want to emphasize when I say discomfort. I'm talking about the realm of being vulnerable and open. You know, whatever it takes to breathe in more oxygen into your auric field. So live in that little crack that the discomfort brings, that space, and pretty soon you're going to be more comfortable and more flexible than you really would have ever dreamed. All right, some mantras for you. We have, I am worthy. I am forgiving. I am valuable. Beautiful. Okay. So you can choose one of those or two or all three and say them, write them down, make them into a background for your cell phone, your computer, make up your own mantras. These mantras will help to strengthen your aura as you work with the words, and then you're going to start to feel them just kind of coming into your energy field. You'll start to believe them. And you want to allow that power to invigorate you, to kind of dial up that natural radiance that you have so that you're feeling the expansion of your auric power. And just know that you are worth that. If there's any little hint of anything in you that thinks this is beneath me or this isn't worth my time or I have more important things to do, no. You're worth this. So group 2, that is what is coming through for you today. If you enjoyed this reading, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're aware of new pick-a-card readings when they're released. I also do distant Reiki videos as well now, so you'll see those popping up. If that is your jam, then welcome to that as well. And if you feel this was beneficial or of use to you, please share with members who may likewise find this of value, and tell fellow Group 2 members that you are part of the Group 2 crew. Let's post that butterfly emoji in the comment section. I appreciate you being here with us today, and I'm sending you love and good vibes, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, my friends. Hello, Group 3. Welcome to your Aura Cleansing Pick-a-Card video. If you picked the Labradorite, then you are in the right place. So I'd like to begin today's video by talking about sensory information that's coming through for your aura. So channeling that information. And that's obviously going to include what your aura might look like currently, what it feels like, if it has a sound or a scent associated with it. You get the picture. Remember, this is a snapshot. It's not always what your aura looks like. We're just picking up on how things are looking at this particular moment in time. All right, let's get started. Okay, and so our sensory card is the Mother of Cups. So this is really unique. This speaks volumes, Group 3. You're someone who has deep emotions, or you have a strong intuition, or possibly both. And I'm feeling this hush as I'm tuning into this. Like your aura serves as this weighted blanket, a protective blanket for you where you can be centered and still and safe, and it's keeping you warm and cozy on the inside. And again, it's kind of blocking out excess sound. It's very hushed. And by blocking out outside influence, it's likely you have a very active mind or inner world. You may be quite imaginative, or you may be a deep thinker. You may lose yourself in projects or creative endeavors. And this is also where your intuition comes into play. I just heard that some of you may be romantics at heart, and that won't be everyone here, but some of you have quite the depth of emotion. And behind this, do you see we have these like little pinpricks of light, those little sparkles, those little stars back there? That's you. Like having the quiet space to reflect, and you're sitting with your own magic and loving energy. Oh yeah. if you're able to make the time to do so, I suspect that you have some extreme intuitive gifts, group 3. And so what I'm sensing is that when outside energy comes up against your aura, it acts as a buffer and it actually moves like water. Okay, there's this rippling kind of effect. It's like the ripples you see when you toss a stone in the pond, or it moves like sound waves. It rolls. And you see the movement from the inside, but you don't hear it and you don't feel it. So if you're here watching today, you are likely very sensitive, group 3, and that is the way I'm seeing your aura. I see it from your perspective. It's like I'm sitting on the inside with you, and I can see what happens when people are pushing in or coming into your space around you and what that impact is like. There's these percussive ripples on water. If there's a lot going on around you, group 3, and you have more pressure pushing in, that's when your aura can get a lot of movement, a lot of impact, a lot of waves. And if it's coming from different directions, it can make you feel off kilter, ungrounded, perhaps a little anxious or afraid, and maybe even a little sick, dizzy, or you may experience some neurological kinds of impacts like migraine, for example, pains, lightheadedness. You may even get sick, like sinus problems, fibromyalgia. Yeah, I'm seeing almost like this is impacting your immune system in a way. So I feel like you may be the type of individual who really might need to withdraw because you're feeling so much. You may be an introvert. You may need more time decompressing and recharging your batteries before going out happily into the world. And you probably cringed at what I just said, going out happily into the world, if you really do identify as being an introvert. So I do feel you're very protective. You found a way to work with your auric field, maybe on an unconscious level, that allows for this kind of flexible movement. The way it moves when impacted from multiple sides could leave you feeling backed into a corner, or you may be a little bit untouchable to others. They may feel like they're never seeing the true you. And I also feel like if enough energy comes at you, that you may develop some holes or leaks in your auric field where astral debris can accumulate. So we're going to pop into your next cards, which indicate what you're carrying with you. And that could be old wounds. It could be stuff that's not yours. A bit of this and a bit of that. And we may actually get more information about what your aura looks like as well. So let's take a peek. Goomba's excited. That brings us to the Ace of Wands. That's a lot of power, group 3. This is a nod to you and your own power for sure. And I want to say that it has been partially dormant, or you've allowed it to get there. The other aspect of this card is that you've allowed other people's energy into your field to take root and to grow. Okay? So you've surrendered to make things around you work. And it's not like you just have one wand here in your auric field, but entire trees. And they're occupying a lot of space. I almost see that cocoon in the center with you, like that blanket. But you're pretty tightly compacted in there. Yeah, you've got these trees pushing in, and you're very carefully and diligently also tending to them. You're allowing these trees to be there while trying to prune them like bonsai. You're controlling their growth so they don't tangle with one another. So that could mean like you're trying to manage feelings so people don't fight or get hurt. You're managing a lot that doesn't belong to you. So there could be some tricky family dynamics or relationship dynamics at play. And I want to ask, are you often a mediator for others? Because I see you as putting out these little fires everywhere. And it feels exhausting, group 3. And so to me, it makes sense that your aura presents like this cocoon for you to retreat to, because there's this pocket in the center where you can rest, but that these huge trees are sprouting up around the cocoon. So I would venture to say that you have some pretty major cords that exist between you and other people. That's part of what I'm getting here as astral debris. all the nourishment and the nutrients that you need for your own fuel are being expended into these other people. Boundaries may be difficult for you because there's this element of feeling like you have to fix everything or control it. So we definitely have some big cords here that could be cut. And this again could be family, as we think of family being associated with family trees, or it could be people that you're very close to, like a close group. Okay, let's see what you have been carrying with you. We have the Seven of Wands. So yeah, this card typically, I'm thinking of like traditional Rider-Waite, has a meaning of being kind of backed into a corner. You're having to fight other people off, standing up. You're kind of exhausted. And the flame in the center is you here, while you're being crowded out by obligations. And this also, it's kind of like the cocoon and then the trees crowding around it. So this could be obligations, it could be other people, a need to see what lies ahead. So you may have to really control your environment to keep things smooth or like just so. And that's a task that's nearly impossible to sustain, because over time the match burns out, we run out of fuel, especially if we're so focused on others, and then we really can make ourselves ill. So it's likely that you have some astral debris in your aura from others. It isn't just psychic ties or cords, because we already know you have the cords, and you likely have psychic ties too, which are similar to cords, but they'll come from acquaintances and colleagues, people we don't know as well, and they're more like cobwebs. They're much smaller, very easy to clear out. And I'd also say you've picked up what's known as, I would call it emotional residues. That's what I've learned to call it. And those are the leftover feelings or emotional sludge that we experience that stems from other people's experiences. So this could include the feelings of our loved ones, our friends, acquaintances, people we don't even know, but we've maybe read about online, coworkers, bosses, that kind of thing. And if we're absorbing things that aren't ours from stories we're reading online or watching the news, it's filled with anything that kind of gets us fired up, injustices from around the world, from around the globe. It's very easy for sensitive individuals to pick up on all the feelings that are happening, that are associated with the abuses that we're learning about and reading about that exist out there. And sensitive people may even pick up on the energy from both sides of a situation, or multiple sides, which can be very conflicting and very confusing. And the more open you are, the more you carry with you. And for you, group 3, even a moment of letting your guard down will allow this energy to accumulate in your auric field. So you likely also have quite a bit of unwanted influencing energy, or UIE, in your aura. And that's exactly what it sounds like. This kind of energy emanates from those who have an agenda for you and how you live your life. So it's typically expressed by people who have a domineering side. They're controlling, they're maybe intimidating, bullying, coercive. And this often happens in very loving relationships. It's that the individual doing it doesn't realize that they are. And we can also very easily do it to others too when we try to control a situation, because we're looking at every possible outcome, when we're hyper vigilant and we're trying to minimize pain, when we try to control how other people behave or act regardless of how they feel because of a possible outcome. This is especially true of people who identify as codependent. When you're very intuitive as well, you can likely see all the possible outcomes, and this may make you bear down or double down twice as hard. We do it when we don't want to rock the boat. So why do some people have a propensity for this? It's those who are sensitive, those who are concerned about others and what they think. They're going to be more susceptible to UIE influence. And individuals who grew up around controlling and those dominating individuals and had to cope with managing outcomes, maybe for safety and security. If you had to be the parent, for example, when you were the child. And also when we keep the company of these types of difficult people in our current reality, we're more likely to experience a heavy UIE load. We're often attracted to what feels safe, what feels like home, the old habits and patterns and experiences that feel normal to us, whether that's a healthy dynamic or not. And don't think it's just the folks we've come into direct contact with who can influence this UIE. any organization that has a strong agenda, politics, media, religion, culture, commercial groups, anything like that. They'll be strong projectors of you, i.e., because they've got a stake in power or money and they want to sway people. In order for this kind of energy to have an impact on you, you need to be susceptible to it in order to accept it unconsciously into your field. And it is highly likely that you not only receive this, but you may also step into the role of mediator and wind up projecting you, i.e. yourself, onto others. So there's a little bit of an entanglement that's happening right there. And what I'd like to do is now look into some self-healing practices with the upcoming cards here to see what's recommended for you to send these energies packing. All right. So, oh, we have another bird. Daughter of Swords. So, this seems pretty straightforward to me. Cut some cords and psychic ties, group 3. That's the first bit of advice that's coming through here. And, you know, the owl here has a very watchful gaze. They're not necessarily hyper vigilant, but they're alert. So take care of these cords and ties that exist in your world right now with the people closest to you, as we talked about, you know, family tree possibly, or very close friends. Yeah. It's where you're the most invested. That's where you want to begin. And you're going to free up a lot of space for yourself. You can create your own ritual for cutting cords by inviting in a divine level beings, such as God, ascended masters, or archangels. You can do a little bit of research on what that means. You want to make sure they're divine level and not from the astral plane. If you are someone who's creative and intuitive, this aspect of ritual creation can be very healing for you. Journal your experiences, and I want to say too, because we have this entanglement, because we have some enmeshment going on here, I do recommend professional therapy or working with a certified therapist or counselor as you do the work to support your emotional processing. Like when we cut the cords, we're doing the energetic work, but there's the emotional piece there as well that needs addressing. So between that and the advice that may come through with the cord cutting, you will begin to shape your inner world in an entirely new way, where you're going to have more space for yourself, group 3. And that's going to make a huge difference in the way that you feel. There's going to be more room for you to spread your wings. And you can book a cord cutting session with an experienced healer if you aren't ready to try this on your own. While I cut my own cords, if there's someone that I have a particularly challenging relationship with, or there's been a difficult experience, I will go to other people to assist with that. A professional here can also teach you how to cut your own cords if you're not ready to make your own ritual yet. So you're just at the start of this part of your healing journey. You have time to grow. Offer yourself kindness and patience as you're embarking on this, because you are going to feel better. It's going to take a little elbow grease, a little work, and a little time. And then we also have, lovely, the 10 of Cups. So this is another bit of self-healing that you can engage in to expand your auric field, you know, to make room for yourself in your dreams. So I would say investigate creative niches that light you up and get you excited. The more time that you can build into your schedule for you as, I want to say, playtime, and creative time with no strings attached to other people or outcomes, the more expansive that your inner cocoon is going to become. We're coming from this like little shrinky light here to something that's much bigger. Yeah. The more centered you're also going to be in this particular space. So instead of your aura feeling like a tight blanket, you've created a little bit of space for you to breathe. You know, and you're sitting in the middle of your own magic. So instead of these little sparks of light that we saw on these cards, you've made an entire rainbow with your beautiful and creative energy. This advice may also include investigating your own intuitive abilities without guilt or shame. Remember, this is about you. It's not about what other people think. They don't need to be invited to this party. So keep your mental real estate open for you and not for them. They don't need to know everything. Okay, and finally we have the 9 of Swords. So I'm seeing this as additional old energetic sludge. That's the way I read this card in this situation, from the past. This is an invitation to dig into old patterns and habits from a long time ago. that can give us a lot of information about how we're currently behaving. So this could be a nod to the UIE we spoke about, the unwanted influencing energy. Where did it come from? Why? Is there a way that you are perpetuating its growth in your auric field through your own behaviors? So this is an invitation for self-reflection and observation and catching yourself. Again, this likely requires some new habits being formed. I would recommend professional support here, but you can clear UIE or emotional residues yourself at the energetic level, again, by calling in a divine level being and asking them to assist you in the process of healing and release of these particular unwanted energies. And this may need to be a quick daily cleanse when you wake up and after you've been out and about in the world. I do mine once a day, and every single time before I'm channeling or working with somebody new, or if I'm doing intuitive work. And I cut ties afterwards too. And my prayers become so simple, the entire aura cleansing process for me maybe takes 3 minutes tops. Okay. So we're going to look at what else you might expect after clearing your aura. What are things going to look like? What kind of outcome can we look at? And then other ways to take care of your aura in the future. Aw, that's so nice. We have the Ace of Cups. Lovely. And the Wheel of Fortune. Fantastic energies here. Okay. So the Ace of Cups, just notice how bright and pure that is compared to some of our other cards here. That's gorgeous. It's the purest extension of the cup energy, of healing energy. This isn't anything to hide in the dark. It's bright, it's out in the open. And I see this as an indication of you being able to handle just about anything, group 3, and being ready for it and being open and happy, being filled with joy, being able to breathe. Your own healing abilities will be magnified quite a bit if you decide to work on healing your aura and some of these deeper ingrained experiences we talked about. And then with our Wheel of Fortune over here as well, it shows me you've embraced your intuitive abilities on the other side of this, and deeply. You're at ease with yourself and your place in everything, and you've allowed yourself to grow because you have the space to do so. You don't have everyone else's stuff mucking up your energy field. You can see the space that everything occupies, the possible trajectory or outcomes of things, but you don't let that dictate your behavior, because you don't try to control everything else for other people because of your big heart. You let things be. You allow. If you do need help, you know where to go, and you can recruit others instead of taking on so much yourself and buttoning down. So acceptance is what is here, and a great sense of peace, group 3. All right, so we're going to look at how you can increase your aura's strength. We have some oracle cards for you. And we have card number 38. Spider web. So between aura cleansings, I want to say that you want to stay involved in your own projects, be creative, do what makes you feel free. You know, spider webs have a delicacy to them. There's space between the threads. On that card, I can see the light shining through, you know, the air moving through it. And this can reflect your aura when you allow breathing room in by making space for yourself. So really stick to this and work on building time in your schedule for you to do what you love, independent of other people. And so it doesn't have to be just the creative time that we talked about earlier, but building your own time in where we're not thinking about others. Really, really focusing on you, giving to yourself. And we have opal, joy. I love that. So I am repeating myself here a little bit, but your sacral chakra to me is just crying out for creativity and joy, and making time for play. So I think one of the other groups also had this too, talking about the sacral chakra. So if you felt, yes. If you felt pulled to an earlier group, 2, I think it was, you may want to check that one out as well. But you might ask yourself, what brings me pleasure right now? What could bring me more pleasure in this particular moment? So be someone who prioritizes play and pleasure, and this will only fuel your creative fires and the spark that you need for you and your auric field. And only you can answer those questions, so don't look to anybody else for that. All right, some mantras for you. I am air. I am divine. I am learning. Beautiful. So you can choose one of those or two or all three if they have a resonance for you, and write them down, or you can make them into a background for your cell phone or your computer if you want to push your creativity a little bit, or make up your own mantras. And the idea is that these will help to strengthen your aura as you're working with the words until you start to feel them and believe them. You allow that power to invigorate you and to dial up your natural radiance so you feel the expansion of your auric presence. Remember that you are learning right now, but this is a process of healing, and results won't come overnight, but a 1% improvement in one area, and then a 1% improvement in another, and then another, does add up with time. So remember your own divinity. Remember that you are precious, you're beloved, and honor yourself with the space and air that you need to breathe, because you deserve this, Group 3. All right, Group 3, that's what I have for you today. If you enjoyed this reading, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're aware of any new pick a card readings when they're released. I also do distant Reiki videos as well. That's a newer thing. So those will be popping up if that is something that you're into. And if you felt this was beneficial or of use to you, please share with members who may likewise find this of value, and tell fellow Group 3 members that you're part of the magical Group 3 crew by posting the sparkle emoji in the comment section. I appreciate you being with us today. I'm sending you love and good vibes, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, my friends. Welcome, Group 4, to your aura cleansing pick a card video reading. And if you pick this Amazonite, then you are in the right place. What I would like to do is to begin today's reading first by getting some sensory information about your aura. And this information is what it sounds like. It can include what your aura looks like or feels like, if it's got a sound associated with it, a smell. You get the idea. So remember, this is a snapshot. It's not always what your aura looks like. We're just picking up on how things are looking at this particular moment in time. All right, let's hop into it. Okay, so to begin, we have the Ten of Swords, and this also indicates to me a feeling of being vulnerable, of being backed into a corner, or just feeling extremely sensitive to the outer world, or being, in this instance, exceptionally tuned into what others are saying, doing, or feeling. So this energy has a lot of external debris that's pushing into it. So the auric field itself may be porous, or it could be a bit thinner at this particular junction. You may be somebody who is highly sensitive, empathic, intuitive. You may also be carrying some deeper trauma wounds, or you may be going through an emotionally difficult time right now, Group 4, because this feels like to me that you have had some big hurt recently, or a loss of some kind, and your energetic and emotional focus is still on this experience and on this pain. I almost find it difficult to shift my focus from this. So from this space, it's hard to monitor what else is moving toward me. Whether that's a good thing that's coming into my field, whether that's something that's not so good, or if it's just neutral. Because there's a lot of external reaching from you, okay? It's a pushing out of your own power and energy to test the waters, to test what's around you, who's around you, which makes you more open and sensitive to the moods and whims of others, but it also undermines your own strength and power. And I almost feel like from this space that my own energy has disappeared, or it's vanished, or it's merged with someone else's, or it could be many someone's. And so I feel a little lost, a little adrift. It's like my anchor's vanished, except for this loss or hurt. And that's the thing that's producing the biggest charge of feeling. So that's where I'm naturally gravitating toward. It's become home for my energies. I'm sitting here. It's strong enough that my threshold for sensing other things has fallen away. So another way to think of this, it reminds me of when you're like at a concert or a show and the music is so loud and someone approaches you, or in a club, and they try to talk to you, they're going to yell, right? And you can't possibly hear what others have to say because the loud music is like this wound. And any other energy, including your own, takes a backseat because your threshold for sensing has shifted. Your new normal is this extreme volume, this extreme pain. So your ears are like ringing for days afterward because of its influence. And while things are going on, you can't hear, you can't sense what else is happening around you. And that's what this energy feels like to me. The other image I'm being made to understand is that this kind of energy can also be accumulated from years of walking on eggshells around certain people, or to deferring to others, to other people, to their wishes. Over time, that repeated action and the accumulation of energy, it becomes quite heavy to the point where we may not recognize our own energy anymore or ourselves because there's so much other that has come in. So before I go any further, if you are going through any kind of hardship or loss at this time, group 4, my heart is with you, and I am so sorry for what you're experiencing, and I'm sending you a big hug. It's really hard to see the light when we're processing challenging loss and pain. And just know that there is a way through to the other side. And if you feel like you are in crisis, there are people you can talk to help begin a journey to the other side of this. So stick with me here if you're in the space to tackle some self-healing through aura cleansing. We'll go a little deeper here. So just to recap at this particular juncture, what's coming through is that your aura feels very fine, like papery thin in places, and very porous. So I see a lot of external energy pushing in on you. The other thing I'm seeing right now is like a sponge, and the way it can absorb so much water. And that's what happens. This energy is pushing in. I also do feel like, though, you are pushing your own energy out, so you're making more space. There's a lot of merging here, and so it may make it difficult to ascertain what's yours, what belongs to other people. And energetically, you may also feel drained. You may feel adrift. Emotionally, you may feel pain, but also a sense of numbness at times. And so what I would like to do next with you is to pull a few more cards. And what they're going to do is indicate what you're carrying with you. And it could be old wounds. It can be stuff that's not yours. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And we also may get more information on what your aura looks like as we continue the exploration of what is in your auric field. Okay. Temperance. So this is a little unusual. Like typically at this part, this is where I'm like diving into astral debris. And we'll have a good idea that you have some cords that need cutting to specific people or events, as we can see all the swords right here on our first card. This card's indicating something else entirely. We did already touch on your empathic nature, but your open and tender-heartedness is also part of what it takes to be a very effective healer. I'm just going to go in this direction. So this was not what I was expecting, but the message is coming through. So we're going to go with that. So some of you here may have some very strong healing abilities, and that's an ability to bring balance to others. Wow, I'm getting this big expansion in my chest right now. Oh my goodness. And healing also to yourself as well. So it's a matter of moving through what's going on right now and allowing what's dormant to rise from the ashes. I mean, we have a bird here. This is, I think, a heron. Not a phoenix, but we've got the flames. But they're balancing the fire out with water. Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself in this spread, but that's where Spirit's taking me right now, so away we go. Anyway, part of healing is to allow yourself compassion as you are expressing your emotions completely and fully. Yeah. So don't suppress them. Don't judge them. let them out, and then make sure you give yourself room to occupy your own energy and space throughout the day. So maybe you cry in the shower, you wash your hair, you get dressed, and you put one foot in front of the other. That could be your win for the day. You know, perhaps you're a bit further along in your healing process, so you begin to set little goals for the day. So maybe you do it the day before, the night before, you know, or maybe, you know, that morning when you get up. But I would say get in the habit, perhaps the night before, so you have a little bit of things planned out. And allow those emotions time to flow, and have compassion for yourself, group 4. When you get a little stuck, lean into others wherever you can, but also set little goals for yourself and hold yourself accountable to honoring one promise you keep to yourself each day. Baby steps. Continuing to push forward as you honor your feelings will help to restore balance and homeostasis in your energetic field. And this will likely take some time, but it's worth it, and you are worth it. So I want to circle back to the idea of cutting cords. Cords are energetic ties that we form with others in our lifetime, and the cords I'm seeing in your aura would be negative cords that link you to specific people or events in your life. These would be individuals you have a closer relationship to, or events that were ugly that you feel you can't easily shake. So in your case, I would probably recommend outsourcing your cord cutting to a therapist who cuts energetic cords, or work in tandem with a therapist or counselor to process emotions for the emotional support at this time, and then connect with an experienced intuitive healer or energy healer to assist you in the cord cutting process. So that way you're tackling the emotional piece, but you're also tackling the energetic piece. And a good healer can work with you and then teach you how to cut your own cords. But you might also find you really connect with this outside support, and so you work together to cut a variety of cords while you heal. The goal with working a healer, though, is to heal, right? So you don't want to hook up with somebody who is pushing their agenda the entire time and keeps you chained to working with them exclusively, because that is not the goal of any good healer. The good healers want to push you through so that you can move on. And you'll be able to tell who feels right for you when you do the work. I want to say Anastasis' website has a list of cord cutting practitioners. If you're interested in finding someone to work with, I will list that in the description box below for you. And because of the energy coming through, being fairly intense in your case, I do recommend outsourcing for support just to begin with. And as you feel lighter and better and more you, then you begin to do the work on your own. And additionally, again, you likely have healing abilities of your own that are quite strong, and you may link up with a healer who can mentor you or point you in the direction of healing modalities that feel good and feel interesting to you. And that's a place to begin. All right. So you guys definitely have had the most unique reading thus far. I didn't get anything really about it. I got some intuitive stuff before, but not like that. Nothing about healing. So you guys are likely healers here. Let's see what else we have. Kind of throwing my spread out the window with you folks. All right, strength. Yeah, so we've got two majors here. I mean, we've got high number 10, and then we've got temperance and strength. So we're looking at some pretty big energy. And yeah, I'm just going to say your guides have definitely hijacked this reading. Yeah, I totally was trying to go off the aura cleansing spread that I designed, but we're just going to listen to the messages coming through here, so that's where we're going. And just note your guides are with you at this time of healing. That's really important to know. They want you to know that you're stronger than you think, and that you are lovingly and divinely protected in all of this, even if you can't always see it or feel it. It is okay to lean into others in your life, loved ones or professionals, as you go forward, but go forward you must, is what I'm getting. You can put one foot in front of the other. You can do this. You're already making positive changes just by sitting here with us and taking this in today. You are increasing your awareness and perhaps starting to collect new ideas about things you can do for self-healing. You can spend some time journaling and talking to your guides and angels. Your spirit team is here around you. They can hear you. They can read your energy, your thoughts, and how you choose to communicate with them. To lean into them is perfectly fine. It is your choice. So, you know, whether you're talking out loud, talking in your head, writing things down, singing, it doesn't matter. They'll know. For some of you, I'm getting the message and I'm hearing this is tough, but you're tougher. You've been through worse, and you will get through to the other side of this. So talk to your loved ones, talk to professionals, talk to your guides. You may ask for signs or just to feel your support, their support. I know when I have a hard time, I ask my angels to step in and dial up my clairsentience, which is that intuitive gift of clear feeling, so that I can feel warmth move through my body. I can feel the energetic hug or a hand on my shoulders. I can feel a smile. And so if that is something that you also are sensing, or you identify as a clairsentient, I should say, then that is an exchange you can develop with your guides as well. But they can also come through in other ways. You pick what works for you. They're going to work with you in whatever capacity you prefer, Group 4. So remember that their communication with you will always flow in the path of least resistance. So if you're more of a clairvoyant, maybe it'll work that way. So we've already ascertained that you're carrying astral debris in the form of energetic cords to be cut. We discussed allowing emotions to flow, working with a therapist or counselor, leaning into loved ones, setting small goals for yourself as you work through your day. Maybe doing that the day before. Honoring those small commitments or promises to yourself, like today I'm going to get up and take a shower and, get changed and go do one thing outside, go for a walk. Also working with your guides and angels to help clear out some of the astral debris as well. I'd like to look at future outcomes for you, something you can expect after you're starting to embark on this, after working on yourself a little bit and after clearing out some of those negative energetic cords. So let's see what we have popping up for you. We have the Ace of Wands. And the Ace of Swords. So when I was doing this earlier, if you watched some of the others, any of the other videos, I don't want to say you guys don't have as many cards as the others, but I was told to kind of stop after 5. They said the message wasn't enough. So that's just in case you noticed that discrepancy. But what's great here, this is beautiful. You have 2 aces, the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Swords. Those are new beginnings. The Ace of Wands speaks to you not only tapping into your unique power and your sense of self, but being able to use it in a transformative way. So we moved from this burden, the Ten of Wands, or the Ten of Swords, I should say. And we've got now the strength of just that single wand. It's so pure. All those extra outside energies are gone. At that point, you've done the work, you've cut the cords, and now you've moved into your own natural radiance, Group 4. And if I tap into your auric field, I see this kind of creative, magnetic feeling that continues to build up in your aura. And it's though you're healing it from the inside out. The cords are gone, the holes heal, and the layer that's closest to your body, the healing begins, and you move through each of the 7 layers upward, right, and outward, and each layer becomes stronger and more flexible. So it's like from the inside out. There's nothing papery or thin about this, and I feel like you would hardly recognize the energy emanating from you down the road, because you are magnetic and powerful, Group 4. And I can see why you're a healer, and likely a strong one at that. And you may have heard that from other readers before, that you have healing abilities, but this is really kind of like, I'm communicating this to you, you need to get out and do this. This is a big push from your guides. So the Ace of Swords indicates to me that you're making your own decisions, you're sitting on your throne of sovereignty, like your solar plexus is lit up here, you're wearing your crown high on your head, you stepped into your power, you don't allow others to have access to your energy who don't deserve it, and those who don't appreciate you. They can go away. This is also a sign to me that you engage in your own cord cutting or psychic tide clearing, so this is absolutely something that you can learn to do on your own. You have the power to keep your auric field clean from influence, and I don't see you, going crazy with this power. You're not like slamming everyone that's coming up against you, like lopping off everyone's head who comes near you. It's not a total door slam against anyone who's stepping closer to get to know you. Maybe just for those who don't deserve access to you and your energy, but for most, you're just unapologetically yourself in this future. And people who aren't in alignment with that or who have their own agendas are going to naturally fall away from your natural radiance. Your own energy speaks for itself, Group 4. There's no need for you to lift a finger toward anyone because you're busy tending to your own garden. This is such an empowered place to be, and you've got an amazing energetic upgrade that's coming to you as you work through this. So we have some oracle cards here, and what I'd like to do with those is see what other practices you might engage with to strengthen your aura as a natural self-healer. So for increasing your auric strength, we have got 5. This looks like a desert or earth. I'm seeing water in my mind's eye. Like some of the other cards from this deck are popping into my brain. And like a meadow, I'm seeing like air. So there's something about the elements that's really wanting to come through here. So spending time outside when and where you can, I think, is going to be important to you as a healer. Walking, hiking, running, do yoga outside, go lie in the dirt, get connected to the earth, go barefoot. Gardening might be something you find you have a propensity for. Touch plants, take care of them indoors if outside isn't possible. Like, let the sun warm your skin. Swim in an ocean or a lake. Go skinny dipping. Salt baths, salt showers may be something that are very good for you. Getting in touch with Mother Earth allows for excess energy to be burned off, whether that's anxiety or emotions of others that are tagging along with you, or other things. And the Earth will gladly take it and transmute it into something that's healthy and vibrant and grounding for others. Also, continue to make sure you're filling up your own cup. Don't become so depleted that you unconsciously go seeking energetic replenishment from others. That is one way that others' energy can sneak back into your auric field. So head off any parched feelings at the source, and that source is you. Take an inventory of your needs and see how you can meet them as often as possible on your own. And if you catch yourself falling back into old habits, don't be afraid to confide in loved ones that you trust and any professional help that you may have connected with during your healing. I feel self-care is going to be big for you in terms of boosting your auric field's flexibility and strength. And you will want to start to put yourself first in terms of taking care of you. This is a hard thing for sensitives and empaths to do, particularly if they often defer to others or pedestalize or idealize other people instead of looking within themselves. We also have calcite with relaxation. So as I look at this and I just think about calcite, to me it also has a very gentle energy, which I feel like is going to be perfect for you right now, while it's working with you. Calcite is, if you're a crystal person, you can get some in a color that resonates with you. It's a stone that's fairly inexpensive. It's readily available. You can go to dealers who ethically source the stones. If you're in a larger city, there's probably like a crystal store or a metaphysical shop where you can order them online. You can keep a small piece of calcite in your left hip pocket as you go about your day and allow the energy to kind of wash over you. You can program a crystal grid using just calcite and ask for its relaxing properties to repair and strengthen your auric field. I'll link an article in the description box on crystal gridding if you're interested in exploring that. Also, make time for relaxation. Don't fill up your day so much with other people and other people's energy that you neglect your own group for. So give yourself the time you need to decompress, engage in activities that truly relax you. Maybe it's taking an afternoon nap or taking a walk, and maybe it's listening to music or singing or cuddling with your fur baby. And if you have a busy household, schedule time in for relaxation and talk to anyone else in your household or outside of the house that can help you build that habit up. So give to yourself here. This isn't indulgent group 4, it's something that you need. And it will help with auric repair and moving energies out that don't belong to you. It will help to calm down your nervous system so you aren't feeling hyper-vigilant. And it's going to help you stop from leaning into what others are doing so much. It's going to head that off at the source so you're not outsourcing your stuff as much. All right, we have a few mantras for you as well. We have, oh, that's excellent. I am root. I am here. Lovely. And I am. Ooh, oh, that gave me goosebumps. So you can choose one of these, choose 2 of them, think about all 3 of them, write them down, create some art with them, make them into a background for your cell phone or computer, write your own. And the mantras are meant to strengthen your aura as you work with the words until you start to feel them in your own energy field. You start to believe them. And you allow that power then to just invigorate you, to wake you up, to shake you up, to dial up that radiance that you have naturally so you feel the expansion of your auric presence. You know, I am root reminds you of the connection to your own body, your own sense of self, and to operate from this space and not from somewhere else where others can come into your energy field. And I am here reminds you of that space that you occupy at this moment. You know, when you have anxious or racing thoughts, it can help to take in your environment. Where are you at the moment? Are you sitting on a comfortable couch? Are your feet touching the floor? Feel it. Lean into it. Describe it. What else do you see around you? Art on the wall? Windows? What are you noticing? Is the sunlight coming through? Is it a cloudy day? Is it snowing? Is it sunny? Just be present as you can be. And you can charge this energy up if you take walks in nature or places that make you feel good and really focus on being present in all you see around you. That's an excellent time to really get grounded. Notice the pavement under your feet or the trail. What are you seeing? What are you smelling? What are you hearing? Notice those things. And of course we have I am. And that mantra needs no further explanation. You are. You're whole. You're perfect. You're loved. So group 4, that is what was coming through for you today. If you felt this was of value or you enjoyed this reading, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're aware of new pickacard readings when they're released. I also do distant Reiki videos as well, if that is something you're interested in. And if you felt this was beneficial or of use to you, please share it with other members who may likewise find this of value. And let those fellow Group 4 members know that you're part of the Group 4 crew by posting the lion emoji in the comments section. I appreciate you being here with us, and I'm sending you all the love and good vibes, Group 4. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.